Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to a special edition of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC, and today we get to take the mystery out of 3 bullpups. We're going to do a bullpup comparison. We're going to compare the Benjamin Akela, the Hassan BullBoss, and the Walther Rain. We're going to compare all 3. But before we get started here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. Doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free, but it really helps support the channel. Also, when you have a chance, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got t-shirts, I've got hats, I got my Generation 2 bipods, and I also have some of my personal inventory I put on there. So it doesn't last long, so check it out when you have opportunity. All right. So what are we going to do today? We're going to compare bullpups, and what we're going to do is the 3 that I just mentioned, the Akela, the BullBoss, and the Rain. They're all 22 caliber. They're all PCP bullpup rifles. They're non-regulated. They're all in similar price point. They all had a side lever cocking operation, and they're magazine fed. And all 3 of them do require a scope. So this is about as close as we're going to get to 3 comparable bullpups. So each rifle, if you guys don't know, each rifle, I've already done a review on each one of these. So we have a specific review. You can check those out if you want the really detailed information on that specific rifle. I'll leave links for you below, just so you can make it nice and easy for you. Just click on that. So we're going to compare these 3 rifles. We're going to show you the key differences, and then we're going to let you decide which one will be the best for you. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay, first up is the Akela. And the way I'm bringing these is just in alphabetical order, okay? So there's no bias here whatsoever in the order. They're just alphabetical order. So we got the Akela, the Boss, and then the Rain. So let's talk about the Akela first. Okay, this weighs about 7.5 pounds. It's all metal. You got a metal scope rail here. You've got obviously a metal shroud, barrel. Everything is metal on this. So it's pretty solid. The trigger assembly, the whole bit. The fit and finish on this is outstanding. This is that Turkish walnut stock, which is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it really is. It's almost like a piece of artwork. If you notice, it has some bipods on here. Those are just my bipods. I put them on here simply because it makes a nice display for these. However, this does not come with a front barrel band at all. And if you'll notice this rifle, right from the breech here, this barrel goes outward and there's no support all the way to the end. So our buddy Terry at Buck Rail, he's designed these barrel bands for this, and it also has a tri-rail on here. So you've got 3 Picatinny rails on here. I'll leave you guys a link if you guys are interested, but what it does, it really solidifies this. So if you take this gun out into the field, you go hunting with it, you bump it, you're not going to have to worry about it. So it's a much, much more stable platform. Anyway, so I just wanted you to know that obviously is not stock. This gun does, however, have an adjustable transfer port, as you can see here, which is great. So you can adjust that very low power or high power. It just regulates how much air is pushed out each time you fire the rifle. So at least there's some adjustment in that. That's pretty cool. So overall, pretty solid gun. Rubber butt pad on here. And this does have a fill port right here on the end. It's your standard Foster fitting, your male Foster fitting. So you put your air source right on there. It's that simple. And it's got this nice little cover cap that snaps on. So let's take a look at the Boss. Now we have the Hassan BullBoss. This is actually a pretty neat rifle. As you can see, this has a synthetic stock, and this stock is rubberized. The texture on it is fantastic. So if your hands were to get wet or you're out in the rain or what have you, the grip on this would be fantastic, but it really has a good feel to it. So this is designed with a pistol grip. As you saw before, the Akela had a thumb hole stock. This has a pistol grip. This also has an adjustable cheek rest. You just push a button and this goes up and down. Magazine's fed right in this area. It's got a fully adjustable trigger, and it has a safety on it right here. This does come with a little Picatinny rail in the front. And the Picatinny scope rail, this is both an 11mm and a Picatinny rail. This is, however, made of a synthetic material. It's a plastic, but it's a very hard, solid plastic. This rifle also does have a built-in suppressor on it, which is nice. So this gun actually weighs about 9 pounds. It's a little heavier. It's probably the heaviest of the three. The fill gauge on this obviously is right here in the front. This again is non-regulated, a 3000 psi fill. In order to fill this, it takes a probe, a fill probe. One of my biggest pet peeves with Hassan, and I don't understand why they do it. This is how this probe comes. You notice it's threaded on the back? So you have to go out and purchase your own Foster fitting to go on this rifle. So you got to put the Foster fitting onto the probe to make it even functional. So that's something you have to buy ahead of time. Anyway, one of my pet peeves. But this has a probe. It goes right into this area right here. You just open up the opening, your probe goes in, you hook your air source to it, and you're good to go. So overall, neat rifle. Like I said, it's probably the heaviest of the three. This is close to 9 pounds, but it feels pretty good. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at the Rain. Okay, here's our Walther Rain. Now this weighs about 6.5 pounds. This has a synthetic stock, but this is like a weapons grade synthetic. It's really, really nice. This probably has the most tactical look out of all of them. And one thing I really like on these, it's got this swollen forward grip, which is pretty cool. This does have a Picatinny rail on the bottom, so if you want to put a bipod or something of that sort on there, you can. You see your gauge is right here, and this does have a fill probe as well. You just remove this cap, and then your probe goes right in the hole just like that, and it has a Foster fitting already on the end of it, so you don't have to worry about any accessories. It's ready to go. It's that simple. So let's put that cap back in there. This, once again, this is a side cocking as well. The magazine actually goes in the back here, and it's ambidextrous. It can go on either side, and that's one great thing about this rifle. This is a fully ambidextrous rifle. So you see the cocking arm is on this side. Well, if we flip it around, you guys see where this space is right here? It's designed that you can actually move the cocking arm to the opposite side if you want. So this is really the great answer to the left-handers out there as far as providing a gun that will fit you perfect. So this is for right-handers, left-handers, totally ambidextrous. You have to love it. All right, let's talk a little performance about all three of these. As far as accuracy goes, let me show you some targets from all three of them. To be honest with you, the accuracy it's pretty much a draw for all of them. They all shoot just as well. They really did. Now, I think the Akela I shot from a shorter distance. However, plinking distance was the same, 40 yards, and that thing was hitting at exactly what I was aiming at. So all three rifles, I'm going to tell you, it's a draw as far as accuracy goes. It really is. They all perform really, really well when it comes to that. As far as shot count, now you can refer to my specific review videos on each of the rifles to get the exact shot count total. But I want to talk about the sweet spot. And those of you who are not that familiar with a non-regulated PCP, we have an area what we call the sweet spot. That's the ultimate area in the gun as far as the pressure goes to where you're going to get the optimum performance. In other words, you're going to get the most foot-pounds of energy, obviously the highest velocity, and the most steady velocity. And you have to remember, accuracy comes with steady pressure. So you want to find that spot in the rifle that will give you consistent pressure behind each round, and it gives you a lower standard deviation, thus better accuracy and the most power. Okay, so as far as this goes, the Akela, it kind of starts off, if you look at the chart here, it kind of starts off high, and it works its way down like a little hill, okay? So basically the Akela, from shot number 1 all the way through shot number 25 is a sweet spot. So that's the most steady string of shots that you're going to get. I think we averages around 32 foot-pounds of energy with the pellets we were using at the time. Okay, the Boss, the BullBoss, it also has a similar pattern of a slight hill. And its sweet spot is also from shot number 1 all the way through shot number 29, roughly. So you're going to roughly get about the same shots there. You're going to get around that 25, 29 shots in that sweet spot. And we averaged on that one, we averaged 34.5 foot-pounds of energy. And that was using the 14.66 grain. So again, that's your sweet spot. You're probably going to get a lot more shots out of it, but those are going to be your most powerful and your most accurate shots. Now, what was very interesting is the Walther Rain. Go ahead and look at this chart. This is more like a hill. I mean, look at the chart. It goes up and then down. You have to remember this one also is a 3,300 PSI fill. But looking at this one, the best shot performance was between shot number 29 and 54. So what's that telling me? You don't have to fill that rifle all the way up to 3,300 PSI. You can fill it up right around 2,900, 3,000 PSI, and you're going to get your absolute best performance. We average 37 foot-pounds of energy in that sweet spot. Again, it's that little hill, that area right in between. But we got the best performance right there. So as you can see, these guns, they're averaging anywhere between that 32 and 37 foot-pounds of energy. So I'm going to call that pretty much a draw on all three of those. Anyway, but I think in all fairness, let's show you guys the performance of these rifles. I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at the plinking session here. And we did this from 40 yards back. We're shooting some of those heavier little steel targets that are designed for rimfire. But you see the power of all these bullpups, and you see the impact. But anyway, grasp that. Also grasp the idea that we're shooting from 40 yards back, and these are some pretty small targets. So go ahead and do that. And then we're going to wrap this up, and I got a guest coming in because we're also going to get his opinion on some of these rifles, and we'll wrap this whole thing up. Usual distance. Let's go ahead and take a look here. You can see what we've got up there. A couple pigs. I got quite a few shotgun shells on their side, and even a little glass bottle with a teeny little cap on it. We're going to see if we can hit those at 40 yards. A little bit of a challenge because we do have some wind going today, but let's just see how well we do. All right. All right, let's start with the shotgun shell sitting on the edge there. So that was a hit. What about that glass bottle? Oh yeah, hit it right on the cap. Not too shabby. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of that egg. Hits with some authority, definitely. Let's get rid of the red pig. And finish it off with the white pig. Here you go. Got a few little targets set up. We're about 40 yards out. Our plinking range here. Go ahead and take a quick look. As you can see, we got some white and a couple white eggs, a red egg, and a couple of shotgun shells. So let's try our luck and let's knock those down. Let's start with the right side. All right. Get a good sight picture here. There's one. That's more like it. That's two. Let's try the white egg. God, this thing is quiet. Here's our white egg. How about our red egg? And one more white egg. All right. I really hate to leave that shotgun shell laying there. Let's see if we can get rid of it. I'd say that's definitely an exit. Yeah, this thing's pretty accurate, that's for sure. So we're a little over, right around 40 yards for our plinking here. Why don't you guys go ahead and take a look. Here we got a couple eggs there, PVC, what have you, and some shotgun shells. So I'm going to try to knock those down. And a little windy, but not too bad. Yeah, the shotgun shells, I should have used red ones. The white ones are kind of hard to see. But let's start with the shotgun shell on the left side. And that's a hit. And our next shotgun shell. And that's a hit. All right, I'm going to go all the way over and hit our piece of PVC because I don't want to take a chance of hitting one of those eggs and knocking it out of the way. So, and that's what you call a cool target. You see how that shatters? All right, the right egg. Man, this thing hits hard. And last but not least, wow, you really do get a lot of power out of this thing. I just love the way it feels. It's so much fun to shoot. It really is. All right, let's just wrap this up with a conclusion a little bit. And guess what? We got Max as our guest here. So Max, out from behind the cameras, and he shot these all many a times as well. So I figured, hey, let's get his opinion as well. So we'll get the other Airgun detective's opinion. So anyway, Max, so going through all these, let's talk about the Akela first, alphabetical order that is.
Right.
And tell me what your thoughts are on this. You know, what do you like about it, maybe what you dislike about it.
You know, the thing I think I liked about it is this is a beautiful looking gun with that wooden stock. I mean, it's one of those things that you bring out to show your friends or you put up on the wall. I mean, I think that's
like a piece of artwork, right?
Yeah.
You just present that piece of artwork.
Yeah, it's just well made. The finish is great on that, so I do like that.
I have to agree. The walnut stock on this thing is absolutely beautiful, and I love the thumb hole stock, the way it's carved out for your fingers, your finger grooves here. It's fantastic. What else do you like about it?
Well, it's great because it's got that easy to charge. And I don't, you know, the parts about the barrel bands, I really do think that they need the barrel bands on here. That's why I really like this buck rail system here.
Yeah.
Here, where they put in this tri-rail even, so you don't even need to bother with this down here.
So Terry hit a home run with that. He definitely did.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a must. Not to mention those good-looking bipods that are sitting on this as well. You know, another thing I liked about it, too, I thought it was very quiet, because this has an integrated suppressor as well.
True, yeah. It doesn't even look like it, but it is in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's got its little stack of cones in there. So we definitely have it integrated. And the thing I really liked most about this was the trigger. Once I figured out this trigger system and figured out how to adjust it, wow, pretty incredible. And I told you guys before, I have a full video on how to adjust this trigger, how to polish it, how to do the whole thing.
All right.
So anyway, anything else on this one?
Well, the cheek rest, wasn't too impressed with that. I mean, it slides back a little bit. Other than that, I didn't think there was really too much to it.
Yeah.
The charging handle is kind of far back also. Now, I did, you know, work out a way of using that charging handle that far back. I can show that for your righties over here.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when Max is mentioning this, if you notice when I was shooting this, because I'm a left-hander, this gun really is not set up for a left-hander. I had to pull my cheek and my face away every time I cocked that, where the other ones I could get away with shooting those. But you're right. So this is definitely set up for a right-hander. And the hammer, the cocking arm definitely is farther back. The other ones are set more by the front trigger. So this one is way back.
So you can sit here and you can do this. You can do that. Another method I found, though, is just taking it with your thumb. This little notch right here makes a great little thing. You can just pull it straight back and then bring it forward.
Show us that again.
You just, from your shooting position, you come back with your thumb, you pull it back, and then you can just slide it forward. So you're not really losing your position as much as if reaching over the top.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's decock that bad boy. Yeah, that's a great thing. You can decock all these rifles. It works out great. But I like that method. That's definitely, like I said, not so much a hot one for the left-handers, but the right-handers, you definitely can get away with it. And then we both discovered you definitely have to get high mounts because you got to get that scope up high in order to get a good line of sight on that.
Yeah. But overall, great performer.
Great performer. Yeah, definitely a great performer. All right, let's grab another one. All right, now we've got our BullBoss. This has been around for a while. I've actually had this gun for several years. one of the things that I like about this most, and I'll be honest with you guys, is the stock. It has this rubber texturized stock to it, and it just feels so nice. It's almost like a soft touch. And then it does have a nice grip. This pistol grip is very nice. But the stock is one of my favorite things on it. And it's like the others, this is a very quiet rifle because this has their quiet suppressor system on it as well. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. This stock is great for field use. I mean, you have misty mornings, you have wet conditions, your hand touches something. I mean, that's the best stock, I think, of the group of 3 for those types of conditions there. Another thing I like about it for field use is this thing does shoulder really well. I mean, it's a heavier one, but that weight is more center, a little bit back at the center.
It's more towards the back, yeah.
And that thing just comes right up so easily. It's a joy to shoot.
So it's easier to shoulder. Yes, it is. And this has your adjustable cheek rest as well. You just got to push the button here, and this comes up and down, just like that. Now this, the scope rail on this one, it's both the 11 millimeter and the Picatinny. Now this is all made out of like a polycarbon. It's some type of plastic, some hard plastic. It hasn't been an issue for me. Do you see that even be an issue, the fact it's not made out of metal?
In fact, giving you the option of the 2 different types of systems is perfect.
Yeah, so whatever type of scope rings you want to set up. Again, all these you're going to have to set up with your own type of scope. What did you think of the triggers on these?
Oh, I like them. I mean, they're a little more complicated work, but they're that nice quattro trigger that you were talking about with the Hot Suns have. And because I've had some in the past and we've worked on them, I mean, we know how to dial them in. So you can get these things dialed in and shoot exactly the way you want it.
Yeah. And one other thing that I really like about these are the magazines. I really do. They're all open exposed. They're so easy to load because, as you know, all your rounds can all go in there. You don't have to rotate it, nothing. It's just those metal magazines. So that's one of my favorites on that one as well.
And for you lefties, it does have that forward charging handle, so it's a lot easier to use.
He's right. You see that? So you come up here, and you can actually reach up here without pulling your head off of the stock, which is kind of nice. So yeah, so your lefties, you definitely can use this rifle as well. Anything else on this one?
No, I think it's a great gun.
Yeah.
A great overall gun.
Yeah. So I think all these, and like we said before, they're all very competitive. They all pretty much perform pretty much the same for the most part. All right, let's try another one. Okay, our final rifle here, the Walther Rain.
Yeah.
This is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's a great little rifle.
This is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. Why is it one of my favorites? Come on, you guys know. I'll let you try to guess. Ambidextrous. I'm a lefty. This is great. You can set this up. This handle can go, as we talked about, can go on either side. Magazine can be loaded on either side. So it's ambidextrous. The other thing I like about it is this thing shoulders really nice. It's very easy to shoulder. Anyway, of course, that's me being biased, being left-handed. So now as the right-hander, what do you think?
Oh, this thing is a great little guy. He's light, he's compact. He's one of those guns that's a fun shooter for all day, adult, child. It doesn't make any difference. The compact size on this thing, it fits almost everybody.
Yeah, it does. And even the trigger, once we dialed in, yeah, it was a little bit of a pain because you see, what I don't like about it is all these little screw holes, as you guys know from my other review on it. And you have to split the case to get to the trigger. But once you get this trigger set, it's a pretty nice trigger, that's for sure. Even though this is just a muzzle brake on here, it's not a suppressor, this gun is not very loud. The 22 caliber one is not very loud. Especially you shoot some heavier pellets in it, it's definitely backyard friendly. Oh, and the other thing we both liked about this, wasn't it, is the forward grip.
Yes, yeah. It's nice having that fatter grip, so it gives you a little bigger base to hang on to when you're just laying it in your hand. You don't have to try and hold it. It fits very well.
And one other thing that we found out is you don't even have to bother filling this to 3,300 psi. If you just fill it to your 3,000, 2,900, you're getting your best performance, as we showed you in that previous segment. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I like this.
Oh yeah.
So I guess that it comes down to this. What Which one would be your favorite? Which one would you want to take home?
You know,
I'm going to let you answer first, and then I'll tell you
yeah.
my opinion.
You know, a lot of it depends on what you want to use it for. And I'm thinking BullBoss. I'm thinking more field use, going out with it rather than sitting, you know, at a table. Because at a table you can have the biggest gun you ever want.
Yeah.
When you're going out in the field, it's nice to have something a little compact, a little bit, you know, better. But that texture on that BullBoss and the way it performs, that's got to be my choice.
That's going to be your choice. Now you guys go ahead and guess what's going to be my choice. Hello. 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 It's ambidextrous. It's specifically designed for either right or left-handers. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Rain. But like we said, they're all terrific performers, and whatever one you would select is not going to be a bad choice. It really isn't. It really just comes down to personal preference. So as far as the battle of the Bullpups go, you know, for the most part, I would say it's a draw. So it just comes down to personal preference and which gun would fit your lifestyle and your type of shooting. It really is. Anyway, well, I'm glad you guys joined us for this episode of Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the airgun. So nice for Max to join us, really, in front of the camera. It's always nice to have Max out here. But anyway, with that, I hope you're all doing well, your families are healthy, and you're getting lots of shooting in. So until next time, take care and God bless.